were asked about is the copying of making a kind of a copy of it that you can change one and out without changing the other component, right? So if I take one of these, and let's say I take this nut, I turn everything else off. If I make a copy of this nut here, and I just copy and paste it, and move it over, if I add a hole to one, it adds it to both, right? Because they're exact copies. And then, so what's it called when it's an exact copy of something else? What was that word? No? So these two things are both the same component. They're two different something of it. It starts with an I. Instance. So those two instances of that same component, right? But I want to make a new component kind of based on these. So remember, one way that we went over was doing new component, just doing a standard one. And by default, whatever component you have activated is going to become the parent. So if you have one of these activated, then that one is going to become the parent. So I saw some people do that. And so they made a new one. It was inside of the old one. So we're going to work on that more next week. But make it there. And now I can go in, grab the actual body of this. And this one actually has two bodies because it's one body is the nylon ring and one body is the rest of the nut. So I'm just going to grab both those and then either copy and click this one, paste, say okay. Now they're there. Or pick on these two, hold control, and drag them to the component. Drag it down here is not going to do anything. Because even though it's below the component, as you're not highlighting anything, it's not going to work. You have to drop it on the component. Oh, yeah. And then it goes in. And gives you a look. If you want to move them, say okay. Another way that I think I knew about, but I forgot, because it just came out July of 23, so it's been around for a year. But I think it came out, I saw it on the What's New, and then I forgot about it before school started in August, and then I just forgot about it completely until someone just mentioned it. If you click on your component and copy your component, and then just down here somewhere right click, so we have an option for paste new. If you right click on your component here, I guess it's earlier when I did it, it didn't show up when I was up here. Like if I still had it selected, I went copy, and see it's not there now. But if I right click somewhere else, then I get the option for paste new, and I can do it. And if I just roll over it, you can see this is the full name. This is sometimes where having a shorter name helps. It doesn't truncate it. But if I go down to the next one, you can see it has the parentheses 1. So that means it's a separate one. Now if I grab this one, and I move it a little bit, I know that this is the new one, that's the original one. I add a hole in capture. It doesn't affect the other ones, but if I do put it on this one, then it does affect both. Because it's just like making a new component and copying the bodies, but because we're doing the paste new, it's a complete separate unaffiliated thing. So if I do it again, so grab that one. Oof.
Oh, I thought it was the reason for that.
No.
But that's not it.
No, because remember instances when it's an exact copy. So let me go back, make a shorter name so we can see. There. So this one's just called nut. Now, okay. Now we can see what happens. So if I just copy and paste, just a regular paste, it's still called nut. Just instance 1, 2, and 3. But if I right click on it and I copy it, and then I paste new, now it's nut 1.
Okay.
And then if I paste new again, now it's nut 2. Instance 1 of each one of those. And so this is where I actually do like to move it a little bit, because now I've got two things right dead on top of each other. That's where I'll move them. Or if I'm in the assembly, then I can just turn off the ones I don't want them to adjust. And then I can use my joint to put that somewhere, right? It's like if I've got this screw here, I know it's not the right size. I could grab the bottom circle there. Grab any one of these circles here along this bottom edge. So that way it puts those things together. Remember, when you're using joints, you pick what you want to go to the other thing. Like which two things do you want to line up with each other? Now I can go in, I can put a hole here, and it's not going to affect any of the other ones. Because it's a separate thing. That's another way, and that's probably easier than making a new component and dragging the bodies and all that stuff. But it's still good to know that you can move things around like that, just for the future use.